could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss, just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take.
What up, Finn fans? Welcome to another episode of the Finn Posse. Everybody doing this morning? Good morning. How is everyone doing this morning? Aqua, good morning. Elwood, good morning. Michael, good morning. The dog's doing all right now. Actually, we just took him back for another surgery. They had to do multiple surgeries, so we should know more later today. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna do the live panel tomorrow. So I'm planning on the live panel tomorrow. They said he should be done with the surgeries today, and everything should be good after that. So hopefully, hoping and praying. See you Monday, going on 2-day trip. Where are you going, Michael? Morning, Cosa Nostra. So, one thing I try to do, obviously you guys know that all black, yeah. Obviously you guys know I take pride in interacting with all you guys on a daily basis. I take pride in trying to be the most interactive content creator, I guess. I don't know if I even consider myself necessarily on that level, or I still don't look at myself like a Doug or a TD or a Reason, and I don't know Reason. I've never talked to Reason, but it came to mind who Reason reminds me of, and I'll break that down to you in a second. I don't want to go in too many different directions, but I take pride in speaking with each and every one of you every day, and I take pride in being open-minded to each and everybody's opinions. But I know there's going to be trolls. I know there's going to be haters. I know that. I understand that, but it still bothers me a great deal. It bothers me a great deal. I know I got to let it roll off my back, but this dude, Cliff, continues to attack me. And like, I see that I had a few messages yesterday. So like I get on there and some of them are from Cliff. And I said, Cliff, what's going on? Like, what's your issue with me? Because he had said, what did he say yesterday? He said, this is truly the least knowledgeable Dolphins podcast I've seen. That's what he said about my show. He said, this is truly the least knowledgeable Dolphins podcast I've seen. Like that's pretty hurtful. You know what I mean? That's pretty hurtful. Now, I don't sit here and pretend that I know everything, or I don't sit here and pretend that I'm right about everything like some people do. Some content creators do that, and some pretty prominent ones at that. But I don't pretend to know everything. But the fact that you said that, so I respond back to him. I said, what's your problem with me? I literally fare with everyone. He said, I'm sorry, but I think your takes are so wrong. What good owner hasn't won a playoff game in 20 years? What good owner has never won a playoff game? Also, they can't manipulate the cap. They can't spend $500 million on salaries. There's a max. Good morning, JD. And I still try to explain my side of the story, even though he's being unreasonable in my opinion. I said, as for Stephen Ross, he might not be the best owner, but he's a good owner. Lots of owners won't spend money on their players or their facilities. He may not make the best personnel decision, but he tries. He said, you want to give him credit for trying? Everyone tries. They don't get extra credit for trying. What good owner hasn't won a playoff game in 20 years? He's just absolutely unreasonable, in my opinion. Like, and I hate to be that one, but jeez. And I didn't say you could go and spend anything you wanted on the salary cap. I want to make that clear. But the salary cap isn't a set number. I mean, it's a set number, but there's ways to manipulate it. Manipulate it. What are we sitting at right now? 13 million? 13 million to the max cap number. But somehow we could create another 40, 50 million dollars without releasing any of the players off this team. So is that not manipulating the salary cap? Because you could rework Tua's contract, get another 20 million. You could turn Jordan Brooks's salary this year into a signing bonus. You could do a lot of things. You could extend Zach Sealer. Yeah, please hit that like button. What up, Jose? Good morning. So obviously we've been breaking down the 2025 schedule for the Miami Dolphins. Right now I got us sitting at 6-2 through 8 games. That's a pretty decent record in my opinion. If we're 6-2 through 8, I'm happy. The fan in me wants to say that we can be 7-1. The real homer in me wants to say we can be 8-0. Do I think that's necessarily a real life possibility? No, probably not. But I think there's a good chance that 6-2 is obtainable. I think 6-2 record after 8 games is obtainable. I don't think that's me being a homer. I don't think that's me being a fanboy or anything like that. I think 6-2 is a reasonable position to expect this team to be in with the amount of talent this team has after 8 games. Especially the way the schedule's set up. Especially with the way the schedule's set up. It's not a difficult schedule in my opinion. We play the Buffalo Bills, of course. They're a tough team. And we play them on Thursday night, a short week. So that's extra rough. And Buffalo has had our number in Miami. I mean, they've had our number all over the place, but specifically in Miami. Now this one's on the road, so we have played Buffalo better on the road in the last few years, and I think there's a good chance that we play them even better this year. It's gonna be reasonably warm. Now it's not gonna be humid, hot, and the way we'd like it to be, but it's not gonna be freezing cold. It's gonna be bearable. It's gonna be nice football weather. Big C, what have you heard about the team and Tyreek Hill? Are they keeping a distance from each other? I wouldn't say that. I would say that Tyreek is enjoying his time off. He had that second procedure on his wrist. I think everything is, going accordingly with them. You know what I mean? I think everything's going accordingly. I think everything will be all right. The less news we hear about Tyreek, the better. The less news that we hear about Tyreek, the better. I think Tyreek is going to show up to camp. I think Tyreek's going to hopefully be on this team this year, and we'll be good. What up, Shake? What up, Shake? Yeah, I don't want to even imagine this team without Tyreek Hill. I want everything to be quiet on that front. What up, Miller? Oh man, the second Buffalo game at home, 10 days rest next. Man, I don't know. Buffalo has had our number in Miami. I know TD said, I don't know if I'm even supposed to give out this. I talked to TD a little bit last night privately. I know that they're doing an event in Buffalo for that Thursday night game. He's trying to get me to go to that. Which that's a short drive for me. I'm not what up, Stanless Jaguar? I'm not a big fan of going to Buffalo games. Their fan base is not a very friendly fan base. So I don't know if I really want to go to that game. I mean, I'd love to get up with them guys, but I don't know if I want to go spend my money on that game. I don't know if I feel comfortable wearing my Dolphins gear to that game. You know what I mean? I literally seen an 80-year-old man get beat up, jumped in the bathroom by Buffalo Bills fans. Swear to goodness. Hand to God, seen it. He came back from the bathroom all bloody and beaten. It's absolutely, they're not a very friendly fan base. Not a very friendly fan base. But we shall see. All right, so I said 6-2 after 8. That's not bad. I'll be happy with that. But that's when we hit the rough part of the season. Then we hit the rough part of the season where we really figure out what this team's made of. After week 8 is when we hit the rough part of the season and we really get to see what this team's made of. Week 9, we got Baltimore coming into Miami. Now, the only beneficial thing about this tough stretch that we got is that they're in Miami. These games are in Miami. Yeah, Shake. TD wants me to go to the Buffalo game in Buffalo. I guess they're having their event in Buffalo at the Dolphins Buffalo game. Which I know a lot of you guys ain't big fans of TD. Some of you guys are. Sometime in the next week, TD is going to be joining the show. Come on, talk Dolphins football with us for a few minutes. Now, again, I expect everybody to be nice, kind, respectful. Listen, TD drives me crazy with some of his takes sometimes too. Sometimes TD drives me crazy with his takes too. So, but that's the beauty of football, is that everybody has an opinion. Everybody can have their whatever way they decide to fan, they fan. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, they're not going to try to jump people in they're not going to try to jump people in Miami, but they do that shit in Buffalo. I've had beer bottles thrown at me when I was a kid in Buffalo. I think I was 12, 13 years old, and a guy threw a beer bottle at my foot because I had a Barry Sanders jersey on. They're not very nice. Throwing beer bottles and all that stuff at the team buses while they're driving in. Like, they're violent people. Aqua, you know who TD is, don't you? But week 9, we got the Baltimore Ravens. They're coming into Miami. Last year, the Baltimore Ravens were one of the best teams in all of football. They finished the season 12-5. They were 6-2 at home and 6-3 on the road. Lamar Jackson had an absolutely phenomenal year. Lamar, like I said, Lamar Jackson had an absolutely phenomenal year. They added Derrick Henry last year, who everybody thought was over the hill. Derrick Henry wanted to come to Miami. Derrick Henry wanted to come to Miami. We decided to decide against bringing him in for whatever reason, even though we were in the need of a power back. Could you imagine, with Tua going out last year, could you imagine if we would have had Derrick Henry to rely on? Now, I love Achane. I think he's a great Swiss Army knife of a running back, but he's not that true bell cow back. He's just too small. He's just too small. Could you imagine if Derrick Henry was here? We would have definitely made the playoffs last year. People can complain about this team. They can complain about Stephen Ross. They can complain about where we currently are in this rebuild. And do I think we should be farther along? Absolutely. But people can't ignore the fact of how injuries have absolutely torn this team apart. The amount of injuries, the absurd amount of injuries this team has suffered over the course of the last 2-3 years is absolutely crazy. It's like we're cursed. Now, I know all teams suffer injuries. I get it. I understand that. Injuries are part of the game. It's just the fact of how many injuries we suffer, and to the most key guys on the roster. The most key guys on the roster. If it's not our quarterback, it's literally everyone else. It's literally everyone else. And it's frustrating. Cap, I think the defense was better when Flores was here, obviously. But this offense has been great. Cap, and I don't want to use injury. It's not an excuse if it's true. You know what I mean? It's not like we lost one player. And it's the amount of injuries, bro. Like, what can Tua's our quarterback. At this point, that's what we got to roll with. And then the 1 year that Tua stays healthy, we have such a huge amount of injuries. It's just you can't ignore them. You can't ignore the injuries, and it just sucks. It just sucks. Depth is obviously a concern on this team. This offensive line is one injury away from Liam Eichenberg being back in the starting lineup. But let's get back to it. Derrick Henry had 1,900 yards last year, 16 touchdowns. Was an option for player of the year. Absolutely phenomenal year by Derrick Henry last year. Lamar Jackson, I think Lamar Jackson was robbed of the MVP. They gave it to Josh Allen because Lamar already got to, but Josh Allen wasn't a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson last year. I don't care what anybody says. There's no way that you can justify giving Josh Allen that MVP award. There's no way. Just look at their stats. Compare their stats. Lamar Jackson, 4,172 yards passing. 4,172 yards passing. Josh Allen had 3,731. Edge Lamar Jackson by 400 yards. Lamar Jackson, 41 touchdown passes. 41 touchdown passes. Josh Allen, 28 touchdown passes. What's that, a difference of 13? Lamar had 13 more touchdown passes. Lamar, 4 interceptions. Josh Allen, 6 interceptions. Lamar had 2 less interceptions. Oh, what did they do on the ground? Josh Allen, he had 531 yards rushing, 12 touchdowns. Now, he did edge him out in the rushing touchdowns, 531 yards and 12 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson, 915 yards. He had 400 more yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. Overall touchdowns, Josh Allen had 40 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson had 45. Josh Allen had 5 less touchdowns than Lamar Jackson and about 1,000 less yards. 1,000 less yards. Cap says, I agree with you 1,000%, though King Henry would have helped here. But no, the fans don't know ball. Listen, Derrick Henry would have been huge for us. Derrick Henry would have been huge for us. Barkley had a great year too. What's sad is Saquon Barkley could have been a Miami Dolphin too. The New York Giants were trying to shop him the year before he went to the Eagles. They only wanted a 5th round pick. Only wanted a 5th round pick. We could have went and got Saquon for a 5th. Now, would a Saquon came here and had the year that he had in Philly? No, because that Philly offensive line is absolutely next level, and we don't have that offensive line here in Miami. But Saquon could have been a huge help for us. Saquon is a gifted player, a gifted player. But yeah, this Baltimore team's going to be tough. Yeah, it's at home. Baltimore was 3rd in scoring last year at 30.5 points per game. They were 9th in defense at 21.2 points given up. They're going to be tough. They're going to be tough. The biggest blunder was not signing Lamar when he had a slim chance. Absolutely, Miller. When they allowed Lamar to go shop himself, he wanted a fully guaranteed contract. I know it would have been risky business, but Miami should have pulled the trigger on it. Lamar Jackson is a Florida boy. I'm sure he would have loved to come home. I don't know who exactly votes for the MVP award, Edward, but I know that it was absolutely rigged. They were desperate to give Josh Allen some flowers. And now Josh Allen's a great player. He's a great player. And at one point last year, I seriously thought Josh was going to win it and he deserved to win it. But at the end of the season, Lamar just came on and he dominated. I think Josh Allen had a crazy game where he had 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 passing touchdowns all in the same game, which is absolutely amazing. But the stats don't lie. The stats don't lie. Jim Brown couldn't run behind our O-line last year. Yeah, I mean, again, we had 2 terrible guards. This is one of the things that I don't agree with TD. You know, they were talking about on Dolphins Confidential last night. Did the Miami Dolphins build the offensive line the correct way? TD was like, no, they didn't. Well, I mean, do I think that the offensive line is a finished product? No. But this was good. It was a good start. We went and used a 2nd-round pick on a very talented guard/tackle, who I think Jonah's going to be phenomenal for us. How fast he picks it up is debatable, but I think he's going to have a long, successful career here in Miami. I think James Daniels, you know, he might take some time to get back from injuries, but we got an all-pro guard at a great discount. Yeah, he's coming off an injury, but he's still young. But he's a great guard. We got a 2nd-round pick in Patrick Paul, who is an absolute worker. And hopefully he continues to get better and grows this year. It's not a finished product, but I think we're heading in the right direction for once. Now, again, Baltimore was 3rd overall in scoring last year at 30.5 points per game. Obviously, their rushing attack is top notch. They might be the best rushing team in all of football. Now, this Miami Dolphins team is really good at stopping the run. Let me find one. Last year, we were 9th in rushing yards given up a game at 103.7. I think we should be better this year. I would think with Kenneth Grant down there, Jordan Phillips down there, added linebacker depth. I think our safeties are going to be better this year. I think they're going to be able to help stop the run. I think the return of Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, I think that's going to help. All those things are going to help us stop the run. It's going to help us get after the quarterback too, but it's going to help us stop the run. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're top 5 this year in run defense. With the amount of talent we added to the front, our defensive front, I don't think it's crazy that we go from 9th to 5th. But does that mean we can stop the Baltimore Ravens? I think this is going to be a tough game for us. I think that I see us dropping this game, honestly, folks. I mean, there's hopeful thinking, there's wishful thinking. Do I think the Miami Dolphins, if things go correct for us, could win this game? Yeah. I think we could have a chance. But I think we're going to try so hard to stop the run that Lamar Jackson's going to be able to take advantage of our corners. I think this is one of those games where our corners really get exposed. I think the Baltimore Ravens might be the favorite to go to the Super Bowl this year. Lamar Jackson's on a different level. He's on a different planet. He's a great player. You mix that with Derrick Henry. That's a tough duel to deal with. And then you know Baltimore is always one of the top defensive teams in the league. They added Malachi Starks to this defense. They got 2 great safeties. This team's going to be tough. I think Baltimore is one of the top 5 teams in the NFL. So even though this game's at home, and even though I think the Miami Dolphins could possibly have a shot, I think Baltimore takes this game. I'm going to say 27-17. I'm going to say 27-17. Say 27-17. And then we got the Deer. That takes us to 6. That leaves us at 6-3 overall on the season. Then we got the scumbag Buffalo Bills coming to town. Oh man. Now I had us losing the first meeting in Buffalo. Even though we play them pretty good in Buffalo, I have them. Buffalo travels down here week 10. There's no cold winter game up in Buffalo this year, which is a bonus. Elwood says we might have Samuel and Jair Alexander then. Listen, Elwood, if we have Samuel and Jair Alexander, which I don't think Chris Greer is going to put that much money. He's not going to invest that much money in the quarterback room. I just don't see it. But if we have Samuel and Jair Alexander, that changes things for this team a great deal. That changes things up for this team a great deal. So again, Buffalo Bills were 13-4 last year. They were 8-0 at home, 5-4 on the road. Listen, Buffalo wasn't great on the road last year. Buffalo doesn't have a number 1 receiving target like that. Shakir was their best receiver last year. He had 76 catches, 821 yards, 4 touchdowns. They just added Elijah Moore. They did add some key defensive pieces though that I really like. Maxwell Harrison, the corner from Kentucky, he was the fastest corner in the draft. TJ Sanders, I really liked him at defensive tackle. Defensive end Landon Jackson. Defensive tackle Deion Walker, I really liked him. He's a true nose tackle. Cornerback Darian Strong from Virginia Tech. And they added Joey Bosa also. And they brought back Tre'Davious White. Key losses for this team, though, is they released Von Miller. Micah Hyde retired. This Buffalo's team is going to be this Buffalo team is going to be good. Their defense is going to be improved. What time is the Buffalo game in Miami? I'm not sure. I want to say it's an early game, though. I want to say it's an early one. I want to say it's probably a 1 o'clock game, Bonnie. This Buffalo team's going to be improved. Their defense is going to be improved. We play Baltimore week 9, 10 days rest for us at home, 31. Why do we got 10 days rest, Elwood? Why do you say we have 10 days rest? Our bye is not till week 11. Is that Baltimore game Thursday night? Is that Baltimore game Thursday night? Let me check. Actually, I got it right here. So 10 days rest. Thursday. All right. So, yeah. Do I think the Buffalo Bills are unbeatable? No, I don't think the Buffalo Bills has ever been unbeatable. I think we've allowed the Buffalo Bills to get into our heads where we I think this team doesn't believe lots of times that they can beat the Buffalo Bills. But I think if Miami comes into this game fairly healthy, I think we have a legit shot to beat Buffalo. Like Elwood said, we're going to come off 10 days rest. They're coming down to Miami. They don't got a lot of top tier options. They're depending on a lot of rookies to help them up out on the defensive side of the ball, as we are. I'm going to say we steal this one. I'm going to say we steal this game from the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to say we win week 10 at home. And what's that take us to? 6-3. That takes us to 7-3. That takes us to a record of 7-3. We beat the Buffalo Bills at home, and we do it 27-24. 27-24. We beat the Buffalo Bills week 10, 27-24. To take us to 7-3. To take us to 7-3. Week 11, we got the Washington Commanders. This is supposed to be a home game. This really bugs me that this isn't a home game. I feel a lot more confident if this was a true home game. But we got to travel to Madrid, Spain, and take on the Washington Commanders. We did joint practices with the Washington Commanders last year, and Jaden Daniels absolutely tore us up in them practices. He absolutely ate our lunch in those practices. We're even worse at the cornerback position this year at the current moment. Washington, they were one game away from the Super Bowl. They played the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game last year. And this team has done nothing but improve. I think these Washington Commanders have the possibility to be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in all of football. This is going to be a really tough game for us. They were 7th in yards last year, 369 a game. 17th in passing yards per game, or passing yards at 3,665. 3rd in rushing yards at 2,619, and 5th in points per game at 28.5. Defensively, they were 13th in yards, 3rd in passing yards. The one weakness this team did have, is they were 30th against the rush. So if you want any chance of beating these Washington Commanders, you got to try to run the ball. But again, they've made improvements. And then they were 18th in points per opponent's points per game. They gave up 23 points per game. So you can score on this defense. Well, at least you could last year. This defense was giving up points. The offense was just so stellar that, they were winning all their games. Jaden Daniels was obviously the rookie of the year last year. He threw the ball for 3,568 yards. He had a completion rate of 69%, which is absolutely phenomenal. He had 891 rushing yards, 6 rushing touchdowns to go along with 25 passing touchdowns and 9 interceptions. A 100.1 QBR. He was the rookie of the year last year. He was absolutely phenomenal. The Washington Commanders got super lucky when they got this kid. Super lucky. Absolutely great pickup for them. Ryan Robinson had an all right year, 799 yards rushing for them, 8 touchdowns. And then Scary Terry McLaurin had a pretty good year, 82 receptions, 1,096 yards, and 13 touchdowns. But this team didn't stay packed. They didn't stay packed. And that's the beauty of having a quarterback on a rookie deal, is that you got money to go. You got money to go invest in your team. You got money to go and improve your team. So these first 4 or 5 years of Jaden Daniels' career, these are going to be the best teams Washington's going to get to surround them with, because they get to pay him a rookie contract. Because after that, he's going to get a huge, massive deal, and they're not going to be able to afford the pieces around him. They're not going to be able to afford the pieces around him. They drafted offensive tackle Josh Conley out of Oregon. That's sure up that offensive line. Drafted cornerback Trey Amos to help their secondary. In round 4, they got Jalen Lane, Virginia Tech wide receiver, super fast burner. He ran a 4.34 40 to add to that offense. Some free agents. They added Javon Kinlaw from San Francisco to help out at defensive tackle. They did lose Jonathan Allen, though. I think that's a big loss for them, especially a team that was already 30th against the rush. You were already 30th against the rush, and you lost Jonathan Allen. That's going to be tough to overcome. That's going to be tough to overcome. But they added Deron Payne. They brought back Deron Payne and Jared Newton. They re-signed Bobby Wagner, re-signed Zach Ertz, brought in cornerback Jonathan Jones. They traded for Laramie Tunsil. This offensive line, they're going to be able to put a wall around Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is going to be able to do whatever he wants behind this line. And the kid can run. I think Jaden Daniels is very comparable to Lamar Jackson. I think he's a better passer than Lamar. He's not quite the runner Lamar is, but they are very similar. They are very, very similar. So they traded for Laramie Tunsil. They gave up a third, a second, and a fourth, and a seventh to get Laramie Tunsil, one of the best left tackles in all of football. And then they traded for Deebo Samuel, wide receiver from San Francisco. Now, I think Deebo's not a burner. He's like a Swiss Army knife. He's a nice weapon to have. I think Washington's going to be able to use him, and he's going to be key for this Washington Commanders team. I don't fear Deebo, but Deebo is a good player for this team. Deebo's going to make plays for this team. They gave up a 5th round pick to go and get Deebo. I think this Washington team is really, really good. I think, like I said, I think they're one of the top 3 teams in the league. If we can establish the runner in this offensive line can be what I think it can be in Miami, if James Daniels is playing up to top notch and Jones is playing top notch, and we don't suffer no setbacks, no injuries, maybe we can run the ball and keep this game close. But listen, if we can't run the ball against this team, we're really going to struggle. I think this is another game that our lack of corners is really going to hurt us. And I see Washington winning this game. And I think this is the game that is going to be a little rough on us. I think this game is going to be a little rough on us. I'm going to say the final score of this one is 30-17. I think Washington takes this. I think Washington takes this one 31-17. I hate to do it, but it's just what I see. So what's that take us to 7-4? 7-4. We come back from Washington. We have a bye week. Hopefully Hopefully this team gets rested, to rejuvenate, and we have a get right game. We have a get right game. We have a get right game to get us back on track, and we play the 5-12 New Orleans Saints. We have a game to get our confidence back up. We got a game that is going to make us feel good about ourselves. We got a game that I think we put up the highest points per game that we're going to have all season. The New Orleans Saints averaged 19.9 points per game last year while giving up 23.4. They finished the season 5-12. They were 3-6 at home, 2-6 on the road. Derek Carr retired. Alvin Kamara didn't have much of a season. 950 yards on the ground, 6 touchdowns. Another 500 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns. They don't got a whole bunch of weapons. Their defense ain't overly great. They're just not a team that scares me. They added offensive tackle Kelvin Banks in the draft. They drafted a quarterback, Tyler Chenot, out of Louisville. I think Tyler's probably going to be starting by that time. We're going to have a rookie quarterback that we're going to go up against. I think they made a mistake not drafting Shedeur Sanders. I don't know what they were thinking taking this Tyler kid in the second round. I didn't have a second round grade on him. This New Orleans Saints team is a complete mess. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. I think we dominate the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to say it's 44-13. I think the Miami Dolphins get right in this game, 44-13. We get right. We finish that stretch, and we are 8-4 through 13 weeks of the season. 8-4, 13 weeks through the season. If we're 8-4 through the first 13, I'm feeling pretty good. Because that means I really truly think that if we can win 2 more games, we're in the playoffs, and we'll still have the Cleveland Browns remaining, still have the New York Jets remaining to play. Who else we got? Let me take a look real quick. So we'll only have to win 2 more games. Only have to win 2 more games. We'll have the Jets, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Tampa, and New England. Oh, we already played Cleveland. Shoot. I was trying to give us Cleveland again. I like playing them so much. So we need to win 2 out of the last 5. The Jets, Steelers, Bengals, Tampa Bay, and New England. I think we can pull 2 wins out of that. Cosa Nostra, they drafted one in the second round. He's not, I don't feel like he's all right. I don't feel like he's a second round pick. Cosa, I don't think he's a second round pick. I think they reached on him. I feel like it was a reach. I think it was a reach. You know, now to get back, I had said something earlier about someone I was watching yesterday, and it popped in my head who they reminded me of. Now, this isn't meant as a disrespectful comment or it's not meant as an insult, but I happened to turn on Reason yesterday. And Reason, in my opinion, likes to toot his own horn a little bit. He likes to toot his own horn. He likes to say, I was the first to say it. I was the first to say it. I'm the one that said it. And I was like, he sounds so familiar. He sounds like someone I've heard before. You know who he is a perfect clone of? You know who he's a perfect clone of? He is a young Big O. He is an absolute young Big O. I swear to God, if you change the tone of their voices and you just listen to what was being said, you would think it was the same person. I think Big O is the same exact way. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's just what I came from. That's what I came away yesterday. That's what I came away with yesterday. I feel like they are just two peas in a pod. And again, that is definitely not an insult. And what I'm not necessarily talking about as far as being negative or not, I'm talking about how cocky they are as far as that they're right, that they're the one that called it, that they're the one that said it, that they're the one that, you know what I mean? I'm talking more along those lines. You know what I mean? Now, maybe Big O is more negative. Big O's probably watched a lot more bad Dolphin football than any of us. Well, I don't know how old everybody is in the chat, but Big O is considerably older than me and Reason. I just meant as far as them lighting to toot their own horns. You know what I mean? Them liking to toot their own horns. Also, pretty soon here, I'm gonna be partially monetized, which who was jealous, Miller? Reason? Reason or Big O? Oh, well, at first, I don't think they're the first to. I don't think either one of them are necessarily the first to say it. They've obviously heard it from somewhere. None of them are overly working firsthand with the team. So they're hearing it from someone else. If they were Omar Kelly or Dave Hyde or Alan Poupart or Chris Perkins, who actually worked firsthand with the Dolphins, you know what I mean? But half those people, they hear something else and they try to jump with it. Reason was saying that the media members need to stick to reporting and leave the commentary or analyst to him and his YouTube guys. Laugh out loud. Listen, I think all of them try to, if it was me, I would. There's a lot of good people out there with great opinions. And I think some people just try to gain other people's clout as much as possible. Why do you got to worry about if TD, Doug, Allen, and Allen do something together? I mean, I guess I can't be butthurt that nobody asked me, you know what I mean, to do anything because I'm rather new. But why wouldn't you want to take someone that is a new guy and help build them up? I think that's more impressive than grabbing a bunch of people that are already established. Let's say for instance, you know, you added a I think you need to add a variety of different people. Like Reason's really good at what I've noticed. Reason's really good at the X's and O's of football. He knows a lot about the X's and O's of football. And then you get a guy that's really good at something else. And then you get a guy that has an inside track like a Omar or a Poupart. And then, you know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of the same style on the Dolphins collective. And I think it's a good show. I like Omar. I like Poop. I like TD. I like Doug. But I think it could be more diverse, and I think it would lead to a more interesting show. But lots of times people just want to grab the people with the most clout, the people with the most subscribers, and let's all gang up. You know what I mean? I don't know if Reason can be mad. Reason's doing a show with Doug on a weekly basis, right? They started a show that they're doing on a weekly basis. But then again, like I go and try to reach out to somebody and I can't even get an answer back, or I can't, you don't have time to do a show with me. Because I've had great ideas for shows, you know what I mean? I wanted to do the Dolphins Roundtable still. And then, you know, TD became too busy. Now TD works a lot. TD does stuff for Bleacher Report. He's got the Dolphin Confidential. He's got the AFC East Roundtable thing. I appreciate that, Elwood. I think we all bring something different to the table. You know what I mean? I feel like I bring a more of a real fan aspect to this because that's what I am. I'm a fan. Listen, if you want to break down the X's and O's, there's lots of people that do that. There's lots of you can go to ESPN and watch that. But if you want to hear from a real Dolphins fan, you know what I mean? If you want to hear from someone that just loves this team, why wouldn't you want someone like me? You know what I mean? But to each their own, and I hope success for each and every one of them. And I support multiple people. I support multiple content creators. I've tried to get a hold of Reason, but I can't seem to get a hold of them. You're right, Elwood. Because I don't know it all. None of us do. None of us do. Even if you act like you know it all, none of us have all the answers. None of us are right all the time, no matter how much they try to hide when they're wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll say I was wrong. And if I say something bad about this team, I hope that I'm wrong. I think that's the difference between me and a lot of content creators is that they're so far in depth with it that they'd rather be right and it hurt the team than to be wrong and the team be successful. And that's an issue. That's an issue. I wouldn't want to watch a program that does that. Miller, I've talked to Miss Finns. Mr. Ballgame, I've not talked to. I've talked to Miss Finns. Me and Miss Finns were supposed to do something. I was trying to get CB83 to do something. It's hard. CB's got a lot going on with his kids. Miss Finns, I don't know what she does for work, but I was trying, But yeah, I don't know it all. And listen, like I said, I'd rather be wrong and admit that I was wrong for the betterment of this team. And I feel like a lot of these content creators that claim to be Miami Dolphin fans would rather be right and the team be hurt by it. For instance, a lot of these content creators that say Tua sucks, they don't want Tua to succeed. They don't want Tua to succeed because then they'd be wrong. And they don't want to be wrong. So they hope and pray that he doesn't do anything great. Whereas if I say Tua sucks, I hope and pray he comes out and throws 60 touchdown passes. Because all I care about is this team winning. I don't care if I'm wrong. What's wrong? What happens if I'm wrong? I come on here and say, hey guys, I was wrong on that one. But hey, we got the W. Yeah. But hey, it is what it is. I don't know who that is. Do a show with Pete Steak. I don't know who that is. Jankety Jim. Hey Miller, they all operate differently. I just know TD's been really good to me, so like I said, I don't agree with all his theories and all the things he says or does, but he's been very good to me. So, I respect the man that he is. But yeah, pretty soon here, I'm gonna be able to be partially monetized, which means I can get super chats, which would be nice. Hopefully, once in a while, you guys look out for the guy. Also, I'm gonna be able to start a membership. I'm trying to think of things that people would like to have in that membership. I think I'm going to do a monthly giveaway. Also, a weekly open panel show for members. All members will get their names put on the screen at the end of the show. All members will get all their comments put on the screen. And members members will have private access to me personally. So if they have show ideas or certain comments that they need to get to me, we can do that too. Members will also have special emojis. So I got a lot of great ideas. It's coming quick. It's coming soon. It's a milestone for me. I'm excited about it. It's another step in the right direction. I've seen Pete Steak in the chat. He goes live. Okay. Yeah, I'm willing to collaborate. If you know people or you want to point people in my direction, I'm with it. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We'll be back tomorrow to break down the rest of the season and see if this team has what it takes to make the playoffs. See if we're finishing in the playoffs or we're headed towards disappointment and what a off season of missing the playoffs could look like. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow evening we'll be doing the open panel chat. Low key, you're inspiring me to start a channel, man. I've been buying equipment and writing show ideas. Hey, Miller, if you want to start a show, even if you want to before you start a show, if you want to get your feet wet a little bit, get your equipment and then come join me a couple days a week just to get your feet wet till you get comfortable. Just till you get comfortable. Join me a couple days a week. People will get to know you, and then you can launch your channel. You know what I mean? But yeah, all the power to you, brother. All the power to you. 11-6. Woo. I'd be happy with 11-6. I ain't gonna lie. But all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember, we're gonna do the live open panel chat tomorrow night. Sorry it took so long. I'm sorry about the delay. But we'll get her done. We'll get her done. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. You know what it is. Fins up, baby. Peace.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds, they can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss, just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna be